Thank you very much. Thank you. Madam Rajavi and other distinguished guests, of which I am very honored to be among here today, ladies and gentlemen, and especially those friends of ours that are watching today from Camp Ashraf and Camp Liberty, Salam. Today is a time for both celebration and a time for mourning. 4 years ago, we worked together under the courageous leadership of Madam Rajavi, using every tool at our disposal to get the wrongful designation of the MEK as a terrorist group removed. And finally, we won. And today, we pause to celebrate that monumental victory. The right road is seldom the easy road. And in this case, it was a hard road, but we fought and we achieved victory. But that victory was less sweet than it might have otherwise been due to the fact that part of the delisting of the residents involved the voluntary move of the residents from Camp Ashraf to Liberty. And of course, our U.S. State Department quickly changed the name to Harai when they recognized that the place did not approximate any form of the word liberty. But with both the U.S. and UN assurances for their safety, some 3,100 residents made that move to Camp Liberty in January of last year. So now, let us review the facts. The United States, yes, the United States, not the European Union, not the UN, at this point has made two guarantees. First, the protection of the Ashraf residents when they agreed to disarm in 1994. And secondly, the United States guaranteed their safety when they agreed to move from Camp Ashraf to the concentration camp-like facility called Camp Liberty. Today, the United States is clearly in breach of its treaty and international obligations, as well as written guarantees that the United States provided each resident of Camp Ashraf in 2004 when the United States promised to protect them until their final disposition. Today, the Obama administration's shocking indifference toward the dire humanitarian situation at Liberty is downright shameful. It pains me to see my government turn its back and to display such indifference, and most of all, to ignore its commitments and its promises. That is not the American way. And it's not like that we don't know that this is a catastrophe waiting to happen at the hands of an Iranian-controlled Maliki government. The first rocket attack, as we know, occurred last February, and the latest occurred just a week ago today. But that's not the full story. The sorry state of affairs at Liberty, lack of proper medical treatment, constant and continuous inhumane harassment at the hands of the Iraqis, preventing the delivery of foodstuffs, preventing the removal of sewage, and hundreds of other harassing techniques show the Iraqi army and the Maliki government for what they really stand for. It is a government and an army that excels in harassing women, children, and the infirm. The United States must quit passing the buck. Secretary Kerry, the buck stops with you and President Obama. And talking about buck passing, I noted in Secretary Kerry's statement issued immediately after the rocket attack, he said, and I quote, we remain absolute. The United States remains committed to assisting the government of Iraq and UNAMI in implementing the December 25, 2011 agreement to quickly relocate the residents of Camp Hariya outside Iraq. We must find a permanent and long-term solution that ensures their safety. End of quote. Notice how he very quickly passed the blame to the United Nations, to UNAMI, and to Iraq. What about the United States commitments and promises? He did not address those. And so after 18 months of living in squalor-like conditions in so-called Camp Liberty, all the promises and commitments made by the United States, including the Obama administration, stand still. Let's review. More Liberty residents have been killed or injured in the so-called Camp Liberty than have been resettled. We must all continue to pressure an ineffective UN and UNAMI, including the Secretary General, to get personally involved and not send in another, what in my opinion was a lackey like Kobler. The Obama administration needs to forego issuing Casper milquetoast comments and get tough with the Iraqis. Quit calling for the Iraqis to identify the terrorists and call a spade a spade. The Iraqis are either the terrorists or they are supportive of the terrorists. Either way, the Iraqis must be held accountable for every action which takes place on their soil. For Kerry and Obama, use your economic tool to get their attention, and don't be afraid to use ultimatums. One thing we know about bullies is they understand either ultimatums or force. The U.S. promises and commitments are still as valid today as the day that they were written and must be honored. Finally, to the residents of Liberty and Ashraf, continue to hang tough. The large gathering that we have here today from all over the world and the voices that you hear speaking today on your behalf, combined with Madam Rajavi's superb leadership, are indicators that help is on the way. Then we can get on with the real business of getting the tyrannical and theocratic leadership of Iran replaced with a government based on the democratic principles laid out by Madam Rajavi. Then and only then will we declare victory. Thank you very much.